Hannah, Elizabeth, and young Emma Bocock, newly converted Mormons from Sheffield, England, are about to journey to America to join the saints in Zion, where innocence meets blood and faith turns to steel. How does a remote religious outpost in the Utah Territory become a powder keg that could fracture a nation? Welcome to Zion's Fire, an American saga of pioneer hopes to polygamous knots, theocracy and resistance to federal troops. Join me, Debbie Pedersen, as we follow the Bocock sisters. This is episode 1, The Forge of Zion. It's early 1857. The Mormon pioneers have carved a desert home beside the Wasatch Mountains in the Utah Territory for a decade. Thousands, led by Brigham Young, call it Zion, a divinely appointed gathering place for the saints called out from the world to establish God's kingdom and usher in Christ's second coming. They have sacrificed all, time, possessions, lives, to build God's kingdom there. To them, they are the elect. They are unstoppable, and no man nor government will derail their divine mission. But 1,500 miles east in Washington, D.C., there's a new president, James Buchanan, who scowls at Utah. Whispers of Mormon rebellion reach his desk. Tales of forts, harems, and a prophet king. This is no Zion, it's a threat. A treasonous theocracy veiled in secrets, challenging U.S. sovereignty, festering on American soil. Buchanan has a presidency to prove. Utah's his target. Faith is about to collide with federal power. Frontier with nation. And into this brewing storm step 3 refined sisters from Sheffield, England. Orphaned since 1852, when their mother Sarah died and their father William 4 years earlier. Hannah, 26, is the sisters' steady anchor. Elizabeth, 19, beautiful, calm, and reflective. And young, vulnerable Emma Bocock is just 13. All 3 sisters are recent Mormon converts about to be drawn across an ocean by tales of Zion and Christ's return. The Bocock sisters set sail. March 28, 1857. Liverpool's bustling docks pulse with coal dust and salt spray. The Bocock sisters, bundles clutched tight, weave through the crowded docks, hearts pounding with resolve. New to the Mormon faith, they join the throng of saints boarding the George Washington, bound for Boston, the first leg of their pilgrimage to Zion. Their half-brother in Sheffield is stunned. His sisters have rejected their Methodist faith, but worse, they are abandoning their inheritance, a steady income from a toll gate on Carleton Road. He pleads with Hannah and Elizabeth. This is madness. You'll lose everything. Father left you a secure income, a home, a future here. You know nothing of these saints, nothing of the ocean, and nothing of the wilderness they want you to cross. Stay. But the sisters turn towards Zion's call. Sheffield is an industrial city that churns with steel mills and smoke. Here, Mormon missionaries thrive among the Wesleyan Methodists who hunger for revival and a restored gospel. They swarm to the missionary street meetings, whose sermons and pamphlets promise of a blooming Zion and Christ's return in Utah. Charles Law, a tea merchant and recent convert, joins the missionary effort. One day, selling tea, He knocks on the Bocock's door. He teaches the sisters about a restored gospel, a living prophet, and temple ordinances sealing families for eternity. His message fills the sisters with hope amid their grief, igniting their Mormon conversion. Charles Law tells the sisters that a group of Mormon saints will soon sail for Zion from Liverpool, and that he will be among them. Hannah and Elizabeth are determined to go. They eagerly plan and pack for the journey. Now alone in Liverpool, severed from family by faith, the sisters are secretly baptized by missionaries in a local meeting house, having delayed their baptism until reaching Liverpool's port. Saddened to leave their brother, they find solace among the saints' warm fellowship, singing hymns that rise over creaking timbers. Everyone is eager to be part of Zion's call. Once on board the George Washington, Hannah leads the sisters' descent to the cramped, damp steerage compartment, filled with rows of narrow wooden bunks, shared by families and strangers. No privacy. The air is thick with smells of wood and hemp. It will soon be filled with sweat and seasickness. In this dimly lit quarters, young Emma grasps Elizabeth's hand. Always fearful of separation, she whispers, "I'm trying to be brave for the true church, but these narrow beds and everyone cramped together, it's scary, Elizabeth. Will Zion be this strange too?" "No, Emma, trust the Lord. This will be our worst hardship, I'm sure of it. But it will be over in 3 weeks when we anchor in Boston. Then we will be on our way to beautiful, peaceful Zion. Our family will be sealed forever in Zion's temples." Emma nods in agreement. Her blue eyes flash up to meet Elizabeth's. The sisters settle into their bunks, tucking bundles wherever they can. Charles Law, 25, the missionary who converted them, strides aboard with his tiny daughter, Elizabeth Ann. Charles is married to Maria, 3 years now. Maria despises her husband's new faith and refuses to see him off. Charles has a plan to steal away his oldest daughter, Elizabeth Ann, to take her to Zion, buying her a ticket in secret. But the child is too sick to sail and not allowed to board. Flustered, Charles must send her back to the grieving Maria. Tiny Elizabeth Ann is spared the dangerous journey. Another family splintered by faith. Before the George Washington sails, the sisters climb to the upper deck for singing and a prayer of blessing from the God of Israel to attend the saints while journeying to Zion. Great promises were made on condition of their faithfulness. The hour of judgment on Babylon is come, and God has made a way for their deliverance. Handkerchiefs wave. 3 cheers for Mormonism. Hundreds of voices shout in unison, a palpable sense of belonging and purpose. As the ship pulls away from the dock, Elizabeth gazes back, her brother's plea echoing, "Don't forsake your inheritance." Blind to the desert's harsh truth, blind to polygamy's hidden shadow, Elizabeth is determined to chase Zion's call. As passengers wave to their loved ones, a surreal ache grips her heart. Her beloved England fades in the distance, traded for a faith-driven storm she cannot yet see. Since 1847, pioneers have trailed into the Salt Lake Valley. Brigham keeps the orders constant: plow, dam, plant. It's no Zion yet. More of a gamble on the wilderness, but to Brigham, it's a kingdom, a place to breathe, build, and await the second coming. God's law reigns here, he vows. Polygamy expands significantly, spoken quietly at first among leaders, louder among grumblers. Brigham keeps the saints busy, no time for them to doubt. Utah is federal territory, but Brigham is king. By 1852, Brigham had declared polygamy a core doctrine of the Mormon faith, essential for salvation. It's now God's law. Utah grows accustomed to it, but outsiders gag. Eastern papers cry barbarism. Polygamy is lumped with slavery. Twin relics. Shocked Americans are repulsed by plural wives and consider it a menace to Christian monogamy. Utah's Zion is a lawless threat to the Union's moral fabric. Utah takes shape. Cabins line muddy streets, ditches draw water from the dust, and crops defy the sage. Brigham becomes territorial governor through Washington's grudging nod. He calls the land Deseret, a holy ground. To the saints, it's a miracle, God's elect, where the desert blossoms as the rose. Thousands arrive from England, Scandinavia, and the States. God is with them. Zion rises. Brigham's sermons rage against the Gentile meddlers. He revives the Nauvoo Legion, his personal militia. They're thousands strong. Rifles gleam under the Wasatch Mountains. Farmers turn to fighters. They are a signal. There will be no more running. But eastward, in Washington, D.C., that militia is echoing. A nation takes note. March 4th, 1857. The country's a tinderbox, deeply divided by slavery. James Buchanan takes the oath as America's 15th president. He's a doughface, a northerner with Southern sympathies. His career is built on compromise. He's now itching to show his grit. Eyes fix on Utah. Not just a frontier, it's a Mormon kingdom defying the Union. Brigham's polygamy is a moral outrage. Tales of Mormon rebellion clutter Buchanan's desk as he fumes. Brigham Young's insolence, running Utah like a polygamous king, mocks our union. I'll send every soldier it takes to crush his rebellion and drag that so-called prophet to heel before he tears this nation apart. Brigham runs Utah like a king. Courts bend to him, not Congress. All while spitting in the face of federal law. Reports of Mormon defiance stack high, like those of federal judge George Stiles, who claims the saints torched his records while mocking his bench. By May, Buchanan needs a distraction from slavery. He's ready to move on the self-anointed king. It's a gamble. Sidestepping Congress while on recess, he issues vague orders to restore order. No declaration of war, no clear instructions on engaging Mormon forces. His focus is on restoring order and supporting a new governor. His first move, ready the troops. On May 28th, his Secretary of War issues General Orders No. 33, mustering 2,500 troops at Fort Leavenworth for the Utah expedition, a federal fist to Brigham's holy hammer. Next, find a replacement governor for the self-anointed king. Buchanan taps Alfred Cumming, a gruff, balding, whiskey-sipping Georgia loyalist willing to take the role. In a private briefing, Buchanan instructs Cumming, "You'll march into Utah with the army and take Young's place as governor. His polygamist rebellion defies our union, and I'm counting on you to smash his theocracy and restore federal order. No negotiations. It will simply be a swap." Cumming, sensing Buchanan's urgency, agrees to the plan. But Buchanan woefully underestimates the saints. Brigham isn't just governor, he's their prophet, a modern-day Moses, the lion of the Lord. His followers, zealots. They die before betraying their prophet. They have crossed the plains and hacked out a new life to create Zion under Brigham's rule. No federal army is going to take that away from them. Conclusion. Through the 1850s, frictions between the federal government and Utah Territory grow. Brigham places polygamy front and center and has reactivated the Mormon militia called the Nauvoo Legion. Brigham has leveraged Utah's isolation. He's transformed it into a theocratic stronghold. A string of federal judges have fled, citing unstoppable defiance. Brigham's word trumps all law. Washington's grip slips as Brigham's tightens. To the Mormons, it's survival. To Washington, it's unchecked power. James Buchanan sees his chance to show strength. Utah is his mark. Meanwhile, the Bocock sisters sail on the George Washington, defying their brother's pleas. Swayed by Charles Law's tales of Zion, they set course for a storm about to break. This is Zion's Fire, Episode 1, The Forge of Zion, digging into this tangle of faith and defiance. Elizabeth Bocock, she's my husband's great-great-grandmother. Stay tuned for the post-show notes and what's happening in Episode 2, where we follow the Army's faltering steps, the sisters' grueling trek, and a prophet's ruthless resolve to guard his people and kingdom at any cost. Zion's Fire post-show notes. Thanks for joining me on Episode 1, The Forge of Zion. Okay, we've got some great notes, so let's get to them. The Bocock sisters left behind their inheritance in Sheffield, England, which was a toll gate. So what exactly does that mean? In 19th century England, there was these things called turnpike trusts, which had been created by Parliament. And these trusts built and maintained the roads, and they set up toll gates every 5 or 10 miles. And then they would lease out these toll gates to the highest bidder. And their father, William, had bid the highest on this toll gate at Carleton Road. So he had to pay the annual lease fee on the toll gate. And then the family got to keep the extra toll that they collected from when wagons went through, coaches, cattle, etc. So the sisters lived in the house next to the toll gate. And when the Bocock girls' father, William, died in 1848, the family toll gate in Sheffield became their livelihood. 9 years later, the girls walked away from this steady income together in Zion, making this decision to leave really quite striking. The Nauvoo Legion. Okay, one settler wrote, "I would rather have my right arm cut off than desert the Legion when the prophet calls." Okay, the Legion was originally started in 1840 in Illinois, and it was Joseph Smith's authorized militia, and there were thousands of men who protected the saints when the mobs came calling. And then after the saints went to Utah, Brigham Young established the Nauvoo Legion again. Joining it was considered a sacred duty and an honor. When Brigham Young called for a regiment or company to muster, men showed up eagerly, bringing their own horses and guns if they had them. The big community events were the 4th of July and Pioneer Day, which is July 24th, when the whole communities would come out and there would be marching, there would be parades and a marching brass band, and the Nauvoo Legion would march along with the brass band. And those were considered the highlights of the year. Okay, serving in the Nauvoo Legion was framed as protecting Zion and the kingdom of God. Sermons were constantly reminding the saints of the Missouri and Illinois mobs. So they kind of saw themselves as the modern day Captain Moroni's defending the title of liberty. The big one, polygamy. Joseph Smith introduced plural marriage quietly in the 1830s and 40s. In 1852, Brigham Young announced it openly as the doctrine of the church. Here's the most likely scenario for the Bocock sisters in 1857, based on what we know about British converts of that exact year. They almost certainly knew polygamy was being practiced before they left England. By 1856 and 1857, the news had exploded everywhere. British newspapers were full of it. Anti-Mormon pamphlets screamed about Mormon harems, and even the mission presidents in Britain had to address it openly. Missionaries were now under strict orders not to hide it anymore. The standard line was, yes, some of the brethren live it by revelation, but only the most faithful and with the consent of the first wife. You probably won't be asked. So whatever it is that the Bocock sisters probably knew about polygamy, it wasn't enough to keep them from going to Zion. What's next in episode 2? Summer 1857 ignites. Buchanan's troops march west. Brigham vows to scorch the desert, and the Bocock sisters roll towards Salt Lake in a wagon train, dust choking their dreams. Will their faith hold as Zion braces for war? Please subscribe to Zion's Fire for episode 2. See you on the trail.